Hey guys, Dino and Nick's Homestead. Today we're going to talk to you about Cucuzzi. It is a Sicilian squash, and we actually planted about 8 to 10 seeds. We only got one to come up, and actually it's probably a pretty good thing because the one has taken over the whole trellis system. This is what the seed looks like right here, and the roots came out right at the very bottom, which is right here. Came out, we transplanted it, and in no time at all the thing took off. This thing here that I'm going to show you right now is probably, how old are they? Is it?
The plant?
Yeah, the plant itself.
The plant itself is probably 3 weeks, I want to say.
Okay. So why don't you show us what this looks like and how long it's been growing.
So here's an example of what they look like when they first start out. That's a female. Okay, and in the mornings the blossom is open. So what we do, or actually I should say what Dean does, is he finds a male flower, which is right here. This male flower will be open as well, and he'll break it off.
Now, how do you tell the difference between the male and the female flower?
The male is just one long stem.
Okay.
And then the female obviously has the fruit. So he breaks out the petals on the male flower and taps it on inside there, and it pollinates them. Because if you don't pollinate them, they shrivel up and die.
Unless the bees get them, I guess.
Yeah, and we don't have a lot of bees. And so this is our biggest one. And yesterday we measured it at how big was it? It grew 4 inches overnight.
17 and a half to
21 and a half.
22 inches, I think.
Yeah. And you can see we have several females here and here. And then there's this one here, which you could visibly see how much that one grew. This one grew 4 inches as well. And I'm going to tell you that about 3 hours ago I measured it again, and it had already grown another 1/4 inch.
And how long?
In maybe 2 hours.
2 hours?
3 hours. And then
Okay.
the seed, do you have the seed, Dean?
Yeah.
These seeds are really, really hard, and they were quite difficult to germinate. I took a Dremel to one of them and tried to soften the side of the shell, and then you can also clip it with a pair of toenail clippers, or you can soak them in 140-degree water. Dean is the germinator, though. He can tell you how difficult it was to get them to grow.
We just got one.
So now all day we've been YouTubing how to cook it. And another name for it is the serpentine squash, Italian serpentine squash. And based on the shape and length of it, you can see why.
So it's Sicily? That's where it comes
Sicilian,
from? Okay.
And we're fixing to have a bunch of them.
So this one plant has taken over this whole trellis system, just one plant.
Show them this is the stalk, the original stalk right there.
Yeah, the thing you have to worry about with squash is the squash vine borer. And I haven't protected this one. Usually I'll put something on those stalks, but I actually haven't done it this year with this one. And so far, but I think we're out of the season for the squash vine borers right now because we actually planted this squash late. I'm calling it a squash because I guess that's actually what it is. Here you can see another small one just on the outside here.
Yep.
Now see, that one's growing
A lot just from yesterday.
Yeah, it's really taken
You
off.
can actually see it with the naked eye how fast they grow.
So we're probably going to harvest this one. And how do you cook it after it's been harvested?
They recommend that you peel it. They say that if you can push your thumb into it, see how I can make a dent there? You don't want it to get too big, otherwise it'll get tough and full of seeds. So we're going to cut it, I'm going to peel it, and I'm going to cut it up into chunks. You can fry it in slices, you can add it to soups. One of my friends who says she grows them in the Philippines says that it tastes really good with pork dishes. It'll be exciting. First time we've ever picked it or harvested or ate it, so I'm excited to see how it tastes.
Hear the thunder rumbling in the background. So yeah, Dino and Nick's Homestead, and that is our Cucuzzi squash, our first year to grow it.